Liberal Fox News commentator Jessica Tarlov yet again handed out some brutal fact checks to her MAGA co-host about whether or not the left is going to riot if Donald Trump becomes president again, as well as Donald Trump's disastrous rally at Madison Square Garden. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we got a couple of clips to look at in this video. As you know, Jessica Tarlov is, we are the unofficial fan club of Jessica Tarlov. I think she has the hardest job in legacy media. And despite the fact that she's outnumbered 4-1, she does an impeccable, incredible job of fact-checking her MAGA co-hosts, even though outnumbered, and they heckle her and they cherry-pick facts and topics, always try to put her on the back foot, and she never is. And so in this first clip, Jeanine Pirro, Trump supporter, says she's really worried about, if Donald Trump wins the election, oh my God, what is the left going to do? Only for Jessica Tarlov to hit her with the mother of all fact checks. And obviously, it's just insane that Jeanine Pirro just walked right into this, but here it is.
But what I'm concerned about in terms of stress is the left's reaction if Donald Trump gets elected, because they talk about how Donald Trump is a chaos candidate. The only chaos is the chaos that they create, whether it's get in their face and don't let him into a restaurant, or, he's this, he's that. That's what I worry about. I would like, if Donald Trump wins, and I'm hoping he wins, I would like that people just be calm and accept it.
January 6th would like a word. One more thing.
But what?
So again, just all that needs to be said, really ridiculous. I mean, if Donald Trump wins the presidency, is it possible that the left reacts badly, that there are riots? Of course, that's not outside the realm of possibility at all. But it's interesting that Jeanine Pirro would say this and not say a word about her side, which actually did riot, which actually did commit an insurrection against the United States Capitol. It was her side that tried to overthrow the results of a free and fair election. It was her side that threatened to murder the vice president and Republican and Democratic lawmakers. So you would think that if a Trump-supporting Republican was even going to voice the hypothetical concern about a riot, she would also have the self-awareness and the wherewithal to say, also, I know that Republicans rioted before on January 6th. I hope that doesn't happen either. That would be super bad. It'd be super gross. Hopefully it doesn't happen. But no, Jeanine Pirro can't even bring herself to do that. And that's why Jessica Tarlov has to hit her with, not a hypothetical riot, an actual riot, an insurrection, January 6th, for which she is just left speechless. Jessica Tarlov also made a pretty compelling case about the comedy of the recent Trump rally at Madison Square Garden being pretty ill-timed and ill-serving of the Trump campaign as the election draws near.
But maybe if you saw
comic, are you a fan of roast? I remember you loving the Tom Brady roast.
I was about to say, I in fact thought Hinchcliffe was one of the funnier people at Tom Brady's roast. But a comedy show and a closing message political rally are very different. And you want to do no harm with 8 days left to go. And it's very clear that harm was done. And you know that because Republicans came out right away flipping out about this. Rick Scott posting, Anthony D'Esposito, who is a congressman in Suffolk County, immediately said, absolutely not, says Puerto Ricans are great. He's Puerto Rican himself. Marco Rubio came out, he was trying to defend the larger message, but he said Puerto Ricans are good people. And the Kamala Harris campaign is reporting that they haven't seen something breakthrough like this comment has yet in the campaign. They're talking about, but maybe if you.
So again, so funny how that, well, you liked this comedian in another context. And I actually watched the Tom Brady roast as well. And I thought that Tony, I'm blanking on his last name. The comedian there that killed Tony is what he's Hinchcliffe, Tony Hinchcliffe. I thought he was also very funny at the Tom Brady roast as well, but that was a roast. That was a Comedy Central roast of a celebrity. And this was a political rally. And again, even if you have a pretty wide sense of humor and you find these remarks funny, I think Jon Stewart said that he found much of Hinchcliffe's comments at the Madison Square Garden rally funny too. You can laugh at the jokes all you want, but there's no doubt that there are serious political consequences to the comments that Hinchcliffe made. New Republic is posting on this too, in addition to the examples that Jessica Tarlov provided of Rick Scott, of all people. Crazy Rick Scott, Republican senator, felt the need to go, oh my God, this is absolutely terrible. You know, what this guy said was super gross. It says something that a Republican elected official felt the need, especially, again, somebody as deranged as Rick Scott, to actually get out ahead of this or to attempt to. I don't think it's working. The New Republic is reporting on this. Trump is getting slammed in key swing state over racist Puerto Rico joke. The racist joke at Donald Trump's Madison Square Garden rally is going to cost him. Donald Trump and his presidential campaign are facing a huge backlash over a comedian's racist joke about Puerto Rico at his rally at Madison Square Garden. Comedian Tony Hinchcliffe called Puerto Rico, quote, a floating island of garbage at a rally at the head of Trump's speech, forcing the campaign to go into damage control and condemn the remarks. But Trump hasn't personally commented or posted any such condemnation on his Truth Social page, and the fallout is growing. Again, whether you like the jokes or not, the political consequences are increasing. And in an election this particularly close, it may be outcome determinative. Again, it's so interesting how, going back to how they try to hit Tarlov with this. And you found him funny in one context, so did I. But that doesn't mean you find him funny at this particular political rally, because believe it or not, there are a time and place for jokes, right? So I just, it's so interesting to me that Greg Gutfeld, but of course he's trying to be a comedian, right? That's his whole shtick. Greg Gutfeld hosts Gutfeld. It's Fox News' attempt at a comedy show. He thinks that he's like this, renowned expert on comedy. Well, again, there's a time and a place. So no one's saying that you have to hate Tony Hinchcliffe to recognize that what he said at this Madison Square Garden rally was gross and that there could be a political consequence to it. Why is that so hard to grasp? Anyway, Puerto Rican voters in Pennsylvania are reportedly furious over the comments, according to Politico. A nonpartisan group representing Puerto Ricans in the state plans to circulate a letter urging its members to vote against Trump, while other members of the community were forwarding footage of the joke on WhatsApp and urging action. The president of the Pennsylvania chapter of the National Puerto Rico Agenda, Roberto L. Lugo, told Politico that the group plans to release a letter condemning the comments and urging Puerto Ricans in the state to not vote for Trump, saying that he was really disturbed by the joke. Quote, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm an independent, Lugo said. But at this point, it's not about political partisan issues. It's about the respect and honor our Puerto Ricans and Latinos deserve as citizens and legal residents of this country. That's the issue. Protests are being planned for Trump's Tuesday rally in Allentown, Pennsylvania, which has one of the largest Puerto Rican populations in the state and is a majority Latino city. Plus, the PPL Center, where the rally is being held, is in the middle of Allentown's Puerto Rican neighborhood. Okay, a school district in the city has even canceled classes on Tuesday. Even Pennsylvania Republicans who support Trump, like State Representative Ryan McKenzie, have come out against the joke. And it goes on like this. I mean, it's a serious problem for the Trump campaign. That they really can't afford. It's just so interesting. Why would you commit this self-inflicted wound? I want Trump to lose, so I'm not personally aggrieved by this. I think it's great that he has politically undermined himself. But again, I'm thinking, just as a student of politics, why do this? Like, this idea that they didn't vet why wouldn't you vet the remarks? Right? This person was speaking off a teleprompter. As a matter of fact, it was reported that the comedian in question, was going to refer to Vice President Harris as the C word. And the Trump campaign asked him to take that out of his set. So maybe vet the rest of it, perhaps. Or, and this is the alternative, maybe they did know the joke was in there and they found it funny, or they thought it was okay, or they shared the racist sentiment which undergirds the comment. I don't know. I just know that based on what we see, it certainly didn't help him politically. It's either, I'm not saying that this is going to cost Trump the election. I'm just saying it could damage his chances. Why would you take the risk? Doesn't make any sense. Again, as a student in politics, it's baffling to me. But as somebody who desperately wants Donald Trump to lose, I just think this is further proof that if you let Trump and MAGA elected officials just follow their instincts, they will almost inevitably self-sabotage because they have no impulse control. And I just think this is more evidence of it. Anyway, great fact check by Jessica Tarlov, keeping it real with her MAGA co-host. And in the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.